everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Coach. I'm head women's volleyball coach, Mo Melhart, and I am here with CJ Vaifanua-Pace, our head women's basketball coach. We just rehearsed the last name, so that's why we're high-fiving. Welcome, CJ.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and been a crazy year. That's no secret, but you've had a lot going on. Like what's been new with you in the last year? And I know you're super excited to get going with your team here in a couple months, but take me back just to this last year for you and what it's been like.
Ooh, well, a lot. I think like as you said, 2020 was a crazy year for all of us. It's actually been good, and I like to say it's been a blessing and a curse, obviously, for a lot of people, a lot of families across the world, going through tougher times. And I have been blessed and fortunate enough to be in a pretty, solid situation outside of not being able to do what I love every day. So outside of that, a lot of time to just grow personally, mentally, physically, emotionally, get better in my craft. I was excited. I like to tell people, but I get nervous like, oh, she's one of the crazy COVID chicks. But we traveled a little bit safely, but was able to utilize the time that we typically wouldn't have to like go see family a little bit and stay somewhere for a couple of weeks that we wouldn't typically be able to do. So yeah, I got to travel a little bit. Obviously got a new name. So got married almost a month ago in 4 days. So I was able to travel to the DR to get married and safely, obviously. Let's see.
Well, and I did want to ask, I think you started a new clothing line.
I did. I was going to talk about the small, I'm learning,
Okay.
I'm learning something just to occupy a little bit more of my time. Go Get It apparel, inspirational clothing line. It started with my fitness journey, just needing to get myself in shape and wanting to get off my butt and say, go get it. And I say that phrase to players or friends when they talk about goals or different things they have coming up in their life. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw it on the shirt. Let's see what happens with it. So it kind of took off a little bit. It's been fun. I'm learning a lot about it. So yeah, just a little side hobby.
That's really cool. And has is that fashion, apparel and stuff, is that something that's always been interesting to you, or you're just like, oh, it's a great idea?
Yeah, for like you're talking about, like if it's like Vogue, that sort of fashion, no. Runway, no. Don't know nothing about it. But you talk about some Nike, Adidas, the latest sneakers, sweatsuits, tech fleece, all that kind of stuff. Oh, I love it. I love it. If that can be like a side job working for like a big name to like design some clothing, I would love to do it. That'd be so much fun.
And how are your fur babies, your dogs?
The babies are good.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody follows on social media. I had a little bit of my big guy Spartacus. He had tore his ACL. Didn't even know dogs had ACLs to tear. So that was a lengthy little process that he had to get taken care of last November. But he's on a lot better. Good. My little old guy Yosh is hanging around, being the referee, barking at everything. So yeah.
Oh, good. So all in all things considered, a lot of good things from this year for you and growth. Coming out to California a couple years ago, I mean, I remember being there on your interview and like big change and a lot of new stuff. And, talk to me a little bit about how that transition's been from you coming over here and growing up over there. And now you're here. You're a West Coaster now. Well, I am.
Oh, it's definitely been interesting. It's been very refreshing. Obviously growing up in the South, and a lot of the things that people know and hear about the South, it's just very different, slower, old school, and definitely living by the ocean. You just have those, the no worries vibe type thing going. And so we love it. I've loved it. So far, I think June would mark 3 years of us being here. So yeah, we're loving it. It's definitely been a journey. It was a 4 days, 40-hour trip in a U-Haul with my car hitched to the back, and a bench, and a one seat bench with Spartacus at 75 pounds at the time, Yoshi 20 pounds, and Nay. So yeah, it was a journey to say the
Well,
least.
you made it through that. So I think you're in a good spot. Talk to me a little bit about you as a player. I asked Isaac the same question, the exact same question I posed to Isaac, our head men's basketball coach, because I think I have to fight myself often, like the player brain or the coach brain, because they're not always synonymous. Like they don't always work together.
For sure.
So tell me a little bit about what CJ Pace was like as a player.
Oh, let's see. So journey wise, JUCO player at a pretty well known junior college program at Chipola College in Marietta, Florida. Had a pretty good success there. Player wise, in regards to like who I was actually the quiet, shy, like silent assassin. That was actually my one of my nicknames.
Oh, really?
Big guard, so I was a hybrid or a tweener. Can shoot the ball pretty well. Could rebound pretty well. Was strong enough to want to defend a 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" when I got up to South Carolina. But then I would love to be able to pull him away from the rim and knock him down. So yeah, I was a quiet, chill. I played my role well. Whatever was asked of me. And I did whatever was needed. I mean, I was a grinder. I was a grinder. I was fortunate enough to play for Don Staley my senior year. So I had two different coaches when I got to South Carolina. So that was an experience in itself, just two different styles of playing, expectations and all, which I feel like has helped mold me into the coach that I am today. A lot of my influences have come from Coach Staley, from David Lane, my JUCO coach. And the mentality that you have to play in the SEC. And during my time at South Carolina, we weren't, we weren't a national powerhouse. We were in the middle of the pack type thing, type crew. And we were grinders. And I believe that's what has made me into who I am, or a big part of who I am today. So, yeah. I'm a competitor, have to be a competitor at heart, playing in a conference as such, but yeah. I think that's what has made me into me.
Did you know you always wanted to be a coach, or how did you land on this profession and this is where you're happiest in yourself?
I actually did. I can't recall. Me talking to my parents. I think I might have been about 11 at summer camps and trying to like run basketball camps. And at the time I wasn't even really playing basketball because I started rather late. I was a softball player my entire life up until the 8th grade. So I knew my dad. I was always watching ball because my dad played semi-pro in Atlanta. And so I was always in a gym, and I was starting to grow a liking for the game. And I think I had to be like 11 or 12. Yeah, I knew then that I had somewhat of a liking for coaching, but then when I got into college and actually in JUCO, it was my sophomore year, I messed my ankle up pretty bad, which had put me in for like 2 months. And for those 2 months, my head coach at the time put me on the sideline. I don't even remember what stat I was taking. He just put a clipboard in my hand and I was on the sideline, but I loved it. And from that point, my sophomore year in college, I was like, you know what? No, I think when I finished playing, and I had set a goal for when I finished playing overseas, or I wanted to go overseas. And when I was finished with that, I knew to some capacity, I wanted to give back to this game and coach. And so I think that's when I knew. And so, yeah, I was overseas for a little bit. And when my grandmother passed, when I was in Peru, I was like, all right, I'm putting it down. It's time to come home. And I had just got home, and I was helping out my first high school. And my JUCO coach called me. He was still there. And he was like, hey, C, I remember you saying you wanting to coach. I have a position open. You want to come back and get a start? And I'm like, heck yeah. And so from then on, that is how I got into the game almost 11 years ago. Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about how you kind of kept your team going this year, and then what you're really looking for and forward to as we get ready to be back in person come fall.
I felt like we needed to hit the reset button a little bit within the program. And so a lot of youth, a lot of young ones, and even when I say new, not necessarily have to be freshmen, we have some transfers coming in. So even though they have college experience, they're still new to a program. They're going to be new to my coaching, new to my staff. And so, yeah, a lot of newness, but we try to use and utilize the time. And I'll be completely honest with you. And some people are surprised by it, but we didn't do a whole lot of focusing on basketball.
Mhm.
With so much newness and what was going on and all the different events
Yeah.
that were going on in the world, I wanted my team to focus on each other, themselves, their health, their mental health. And so we did a lot of like just team bonding, a lot of activities for them to get to know each other, um, a lot of quizzes and like games for and me and them in one-on-one settings. Because obviously when you're going through the recruiting process, you get to know your kids, but you don't know them until they get to you.
Totally.
And so I felt like during this time, I was able to use this time to like get to know them on a different level.
Mhm.
Um, seeing them go through different sorts of challenges like we did, I got a different insight in their minds. And so that's what a lot of this year or this past year was spent, was just getting to know my kids, building better relationships and great relationships with them, not even just for myself, my staff, between themselves. And then we slowly started to work some basketball in there. And so even just getting a glimpse of how they're reacting to the basketball side of it, I'm excited to be able to coach this group because they're just different as a whole when it comes to just being hungry
Mhm.
and wanting this challenge and knowing what they're stepping into. And not everybody's built for rebuilds. Like
Mhm.
a lot of kids are used to coming from successful places and are used to winning, and they want to continue winning.
Right.
And I'm very honest, and I'm very transparent. Like, hey, listen, you're going to come into a situation where it's a lot of changes that have happened, and this is opportunity for you to just flourish and grow and write a new ending or whatever it is that they have, or whatever situation that they're coming from. um, they're hungry. It's really fun to see this group, and everything's been obviously on the virtual side of things. So it's been fun seeing how well they click and connect, and they haven't even met each other face to face yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like salivating and so excited to see like, oh man, they're connecting like this already. Hopefully when we get in person, it will continue and we can still get that same flow. So I'm just excited to get to a group as
Yeah.
a whole. They're ready to go, and they're like, they're chomping at the bit to work,
That's
which
awesome.
is, put a
Yeah.
fire in me.
Yeah, that's what you need. I mean,
Oh
especially
yeah.
like you said, like a rebuild, you
Yeah.
need that mindset from top to bottom,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
important. I'm curious, one of the things that I guess I didn't really realize is just your experience as a player, as a coach, recruiting like junior college
Yeah.
transfers. Personally, I don't have a ton. We've had a couple, but I don't have a ton of experience with that. Um, so tell me a little bit about that recruiting process when you're going that route with junior college athletes, and is it different like in California compared to where you were? And I'm just curious because I don't have a ton of experience with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, definitely something different when it comes to the JUCO world from California and everywhere outside of the state, because California junior college system is its own entity,
Right. Right.
and so the way that they go about recruiting and how they get their talent is very different from how everybody else in the country goes about it. Everybody else in the country, they can go and recruit the same way that we can for the most part.
Mhm.
Um, versus California JUCOs, for the most part, they're getting kids that are just in their backyard
Right.
and working with whatever cards in hand that they've
Mhm.
been dealt, to make the best. And there's a lot of very, very, very good programs in this state. But it is a lot different
Mhm.
recruiting wise, and the type of kids that you're going to get, um, and the variety, because there's
Right.
so many more JUCOs outside of the state that
Mhm.
that you can go to choose from. But when it comes to like the recruiting side of it, it's different because and junior college kids, they all have different stories or reasonings to why they're at that level.
Right.
From grades to flew under the radar to just need a little bit more time to develop. There's a multitude of reasons why they would be there. And so when you're recruiting a junior college kid, they have a different, for the most part, they have a different kind of mentality of, I gotta work differently to get seen again, to get re-recruited.
Oh,
Versus high school kids, this their one shot,
right.
right?
Mhm.
Like junior college, almost like a second chance for the most part. And so like the mentality of the type of kids that you are trying to go and get out of the junior college side of things, it comes with a little bit more maturity, I believe. And
Mhm.
so when I'm going to get junior college kids, it's because there's a particular need in a position, or um, just experience wise, that we're looking for, that high school kids will take a little bit more time to get to.
Mhm.
When if we're on our timeline, we're trying to get certain things done, we might need to plug a certain kind of piece in there, which a lot of times are those transfers pieces. So yeah.
As you move forward, you look forward to this next year and the couple years after that. What's the right fit for this program right now for you? You know, what are some of those qualities that you're really, aside from the work that I think we've already discussed, what are some of those pieces, those fit characteristics that you really feel like you have or that you're getting towards?
Oh, for sure. I would say the number one thing right now is buy-in.
Mm.
Is buy-in, and understanding what they're stepping into, and not trying to come in with your own agenda, trying to do your own thing. You got to be able to fit the mentality of what we have going on. And obviously every year, and you know how this goes, every year that you recruit, you're always, it's not a knock to any of your kids, but you're always looking for the next
Mhm.
best, because that next best is going to help elevate your program and elevate the ones that are already in there. But they also have to be able to fit what we're already doing.
Right.
Bring something to enhance, but fit in regards to having that team mentality. It's not, it takes my it's so corny, and I'm probably not even going to say it right, but I will never forget the story my JUCO coach said, when you're going into battle and fight, it hurts to, it doesn't hurt when one tries to take on a team,
Mhm.
but if you all come together and and it takes everybody and you go into battle, that hurts. That's an impactful feeling. And so if you can come in and say, you know what, I'm willing to help, I want to do whatever I need to do for this team to be better, to be stronger, then
Mhm.
we will be stronger as a unit, and we can grow and continue taking next steps to getting better within this program.
Um, you know, this is home for you and your family now. And tell me a little bit about the community and your time in Monterey and what makes it special to you, because I think that's really what I'm trying to get really from every coach is we all really love this place because we wouldn't be here if we didn't.
For sure.
But what makes it special for each of us is so different. So I don't know,
Sure.
what are your thoughts on that?
For me, one, the obvious, like who wouldn't want to live in Monterey, California? Like it's absolutely beautiful,
Mhm.
a place to be able, it's serene for me.
Good.
When it comes to the community part, as I'm still learning my pockets and where to go, what I have learned is like everyone here is just so welcoming.
Mhm.
Everyone's always, or at least the individuals that I've come in contact with, are always willing to lend a hand to help. Wanting to know more, wanting to invest, um, wanting to pour into people or pour into your players or whatever it is, whatever it is that their niche is. If it's coming to games and just wanting to support, or wanting to host a dinner here or there, whatever the case may be, like the people here are just good people, and I could appreciate that and really enjoy um, being around people that are just welcoming and want to see others do well and succeed. And so I can say for our area, um, there's just so much, there's so much opportunity here. And it's, since I've been here in 3 years, I've seen so much growth already, and I see what, the plans of what's to come. And so I'm just excited to see what our area, Monterey, Seaside, Marina, what it will be looking like in the next few years, that in return is going to help us in our recruiting in our university. And and just creating that college town, that college life type feel that I think we all enjoy. I think on the coach's standpoint, we remember what it was like and what we enjoyed about our experience. And when we're trying to give our student athletes that good experience, I think those are all little elements that, help with all of that. Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to end here with my this or that.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just so great talking to you. You have such a calming
I'll do it more often
about you. I know. And your vibe behind you is very relaxed with the candle lit and everything.
Thank you.
It's a zen. Okay. All right. Number 1, a concert or a comedy show?
Concert all day.
Oh.
I'm a music head.
What was the last concert you went to? Do you remember?
I want to say it was Common Kings in Santa Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah, Common Kings.
Is it at the Catalyst?
Yes, that's it's my spot.
All right. Game night or a night out?
Oh, I'm a homebody at heart, so game night.
When you hear USC, do you think Trojan or Gamecock?
Gamecocks all day. We are the original USC, period.
I knew I'd get a reaction out of you. I just had to do it.
I'm just saying. When this gets posted, if anybody has anything to say, make sure you at me. Just saying.
All right. You heard it here. Yeah, you heard it here. Oh my gosh. Well, this was really fun. I'm super excited just to see your team, new faces, new energy.
Oh yeah.
New door. I mean, we got a lot of things to look forward to from this fall, right? But this has been another episode of Coffee with Coach. I'm Mo Melhart, head women's volleyball coach, here with CJ. See if I can say it again. Vaifanua.
Boom.
Pace. I did it again. CJ, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Mo. This was fun.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you in person soon.
Hopefully soon.
Go Otters.